Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Coming in at number 39 on our countdown, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. DFF, as everybody kind of relates to him, and this is the highest he's ever been on this ranking. He was number 43 in 2022. Then he was number 59, huge drop-off last year for 2023. And this year comes in at 39. A lot of that has to do with the Dre Greenlaw injury, what that's going to look like. Aziz, left last year. Obviously that helps. But this guy has just become a coach's favorite. I don't know why. I think he's a great dude. I think he's one of Fred Warner's best friends. He's on his podcast. Talks about him a lot. So he's a huge locker room guy. He's a huge coach's favorite guy. Converted safety to linebacker / special teamer. And his contract's fully guaranteed. They brought him back on a 1-year, $1.9 million, so essentially $2 million deal, fully guaranteed. And whatever your thoughts are on DFF, I always get mad at training camp whenever he's getting reps over the young pups, because it's like I just don't see quality linebacker play at any point throughout his entire career. I always get frustrated, but the coaches love this dude. They really, really do. He wears jersey number 45, and he's changed jerseys few times with the 49ers. 6'2", 225, small. Definitely on the light end as far as linebackers. Converted safety, so he is forced to bulk up a lot. 27 years old, not that old. And he's entering into his 5th season. Technically, it's his 6th, but he missed 1 full year because of an injury, so that season didn't accrue. So from NFL standards, he's entering his 5th, even though, if you look just chronologically, he's been in the NFL 6 consecutive years. One of those years doesn't count for contract, retirement, vet status, all that stuff. Good speed, 4.58 40, not bad. 7.23 cone, 34.5-inch vertical, 10.3 broad jump, 15 bench press reps. On the smaller side for a linebacker, good for a safety. And he's another Arizona guy. I feel like so much of this roster is peppered with Arizona players. Went to Mountain View High School, played at Arizona. Not with Jacob Cowing. He was there way before, but same school as Jacob Cowing, the Wildcats. Graduated with a general studies degree. And, you dive into the past. Shout out to my man Josh, executive producer of today's show. He is a self-proclaimed mama's boy growing up and would regularly have date nights with his mom. I think that's incredible. Began playing football 6 years old. Uncle signed him up for flag football, and whenever he made it to high school, safety, wide receiver, that's kind of where he made his claim. Converted to defensive end and was Arizona first team selection as a junior at defensive end. This guy's played everywhere, all 3 levels on the defensive side. Goes to Arizona, and he played 13 games as a true freshman back in 2015. In 2016, they used him as the bandit role or that safety in the box, and that's the new kind of hot button issue that all NFL teams want. Malik Mustafa did the same thing. Renardo Green did the same thing. It's these highly versatile defenders that can cover and play the run and have speed and can kind of, have the intellect to do it all. Niners stock up on these guys, and DFF might have been the first that they kind of went off after that. Played in 2 bowl games during his time in Arizona, and then whenever he got undrafted free agent brought in, they moved him from safety to linebacker. Spent the first season on the 49ers practice squad, just one of those redshirt players that just kind of sticks around until he gets his chance, and then it's hard to let him go because the coaches trust him so much. Does a lot for the Santa Clara community. He's very, very involved everywhere. And I'll say this, his probably high point was that he led the 49ers in special teams tackles back in 2022 and was a fringe, almost made the Pro Bowl. And I hate Pro Bowl voting now. It's disgusting because, you click on special teams and it just shows stats like tackles or what. That's all it shows. There's way better ways to do that if you're the NFL. I mean, people's contracts and money need to live up to that. My thing is, I don't think he's that good at special teams either. And so that's my issue. I don't think he's a good linebacker, and I don't think that he's a good special teamer. we have all these quote-unquote special team studs and special team aces like George Odom and DFF, yet we continuously have the worst, or at least a bottom 5 special teams unit every single year in and year out, no matter who our coordinator is, which we need a new one, but that's okay. I don't know. DFF's a good player. I don't know if he's $2 million guaranteed special team only good player. And that's kind of what he's become. Defensive snaps, they're bad whenever he's out there. Coaching staff and team favorite. Like I said, the pass game has kind of been the issue for him. He's got a 44 grade in coverage as a linebacker. Not good. You look across all of his PFF grades, it's not great. 51.1 overall, that's bad. 65.9 run, decent. 54.2 pass rush, bad. 44 in coverage, terrible. And then you look at his special teams grades. Okay, 2021, he was 69.7. Okay, that's good. 2022, 73.2. All right, that's cool. Then you look at last year, 2023, 56.5. He had 3 tackles. He had the same amount of missed tackles as tackles made on the year. Not good. Played 161 defensive snaps last year, 293 special team snaps. So it's a lot, but it's just kind of like, man, we've something's got to come out. Like, where is the return for your dollar? Is he just a great locker room culture guy and, like, he's worth that? I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not around. You ask Fred Warner, I think he'd say yes. You ask Johnny Holland, I think he'd say yes. You ask Kyle Shanahan, I think he'd say yes. So that's where I keep going back to, is just this, maybe that's where they decide to keep him. He's got $4.3 million career earnings. Love that. Love seeing people get paid. Last year, had 1 start, only 4 career starts since he's been with the Niners. Appeared in 61 games, appeared in 16 last year. Again, mostly special teams. So let's look at the linebacker depth chart, because he's making the roster as a special teamer. But again, just like George Odom, most of his time is going to be on special teams, but he still factors in. Last year, I remember any time in training camp when Fred Warner or Dre Greenlaw or Oren Burks were out, DFF was the first linebacker in at every single spot. And I hated that, because it's like, man, let's get these young guys. We know what DFF is. Let's get these other guys some snaps. We'll see if that changes this year. Your locks, 49ers usually keep 5 to 6. Warner's a lock. Devondre Campbell's a lock. DFF is a lock because of the guaranteed money. Dre Greenlaw won't count against the 53 because he's going to be on the PUP list. So that's 3. So 2 more guys. D. Winters, Jalen Graham, Tatum Bethune. I think really the 2 of those 3. And then you got Zeke Turner, another special team stud who I think is much better special teams-wise than DFF, but the contract would not say that. And Curtis Robinson, who's been with the Niners for a while now. So DFF's making this roster, no doubt about that. Is he going to be factored into the linebacker rotation? Probably. If I had it my way, he would be the backup Sam linebacker, not the starting Sam. But we'll see what they do. D. Winters, Jalen Graham, Tatum Bethune. Somebody's got to step up and prove that they have the coach's trust and they have Fred Warner's trust. That's huge. You got Warner, you got Devondre Campbell, 2 great vets. Dre Greenlaw's in the wings, but he's not going to be back till November. So you've got these young guys. Is it DFF or is it going to be the young pups out there early on? Judging by what the 49ers have done in the past, probably going to be DFF out there as the Sam linebacker week 1. I don't like it. I don't think the fans will like it, but for some reason the coaching staff just really, really trusts this guy. And I think that's got to carry weight, and I got to constantly check myself. Linebacker coach Johnny Holland deserves to put out whoever the hell he wants. He's such a good coach. And DFF's a good dude. It's just the mistakes and the lack of consistency and the missed tackles. It's rough. It's rough. But hopefully he takes his stride up. Maybe he takes over that Sam role and he has it all year. That would be a very huge positive for the 49ers if he could live up to that kind of role and be that, third linebacker when we're in our base set. That would be ideal. So we'll see what happens. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.